In January 2010, keep in mind the Justice Department wrote the FCC that it would like to see more, not less, competition in the broadband telecom space. Joining us with more on this and the potential impact of the proposed merger on consumers is Joel Kelsey. He's political advisor to Free Press, a D.C.-based nonprofit organization dedicated to wireless issues and the consumer. So many issues when it comes to that group. Hey, Joel, good to have you here with us. Why do you not want to see this deal go through? Do you think it's just going to be less competition, terrible for consumers?
Yeah, that's right. If this deal goes through, you'll have basically two companies, AT&T and Verizon, with a combined close to 80% of the market share for wireless service in this country. And that will allow them to do a lot of things that are not so good for consumers, like foreclosing choice on the different plans that you would get, the prices you would get those plans at, and raising rates on things like text messaging and data rates.
Let me just beg to differ with you. Chris Larson at Piper Jaffray was just on. He's been covering the industry for 17 years, and he said, well, he'd like to see more the ability to maybe raise prices because in terms of, I guess, margins for the companies. He says he hasn't seen prices go up on telecom offerings. So ever. In all the time that he's been covering it. So almost 20 years there. So that argument, he says, is not really valid.
Well, I'm not sure what bills he's looking at, but I think for most folks out there, they've seen their wireless prices increase over the last decade or so. And I think when it's important to think about prices in the wireless space, it's important to make apple-to-apple comparisons. I think a lot of times the industry, in particular AT&T in the context of this deal, has said the price for voice minutes has gone down. But that's not really what this merger is about. This merger is about data. This merger is about mobile broadband and access to spectrum. And when you look at text message rates, the companies have really, in concert, raised their message rates from 5 cents per message to 10 cents per message to 15 cents per message and upwards when it comes to data rates and the price that consumers pay for mobile data. Those prices have risen as well. So I think when you look at the entire ecosystem and the amount of money that consumers pay month to month to be a part of, to be a wireless subscriber, those numbers have increased. And certainly when you compare it internationally, consumers in the United States pay more annually for their wireless service than almost any other consumer in developed nations around the world.
I think one caveat you have to add there is that if you look at prices you're paying on your mobile phone bill this year versus last year or versus 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you're doing a heck of a lot more, right? I mean, people these days use their cell phones for everything, including playing Scrabble and looking at movie times and getting train tickets and buying stuff, whereas back in the day, you would have just maybe sent a text message, but rarely even made a call. Let's talk about...
That's a fair point. Not that prices shouldn't rise, but it's that competition in the market would force companies like AT&T and Verizon to keep their rates tied to some mooring post. It would discipline their market. Well, and in the context of this merger, T-Mobile already has the lowest offerings out there, and I don't think you'll see those same types of low prices in the market once AT&T buys them. And
in general, safe to say that competition is usually in the best interests of everyone, except for obviously the monopoly or duopoly that has come to exist now already. When you look at it, AT&T and Verizon pretty much have it. Wouldn't you like to see even those two broken up? Aren't those two themselves already too big?
Well, I mean, I think DOJ is going to have to take a strong and hard look at this. It's certainly going to be a tall mountain for them to climb. And as you mentioned in the past, when they've opined in this space, they've said to the Federal Communications Commission that there's different policy levers they should be looking at to lower the barriers to entry and try to get more competitors in this space, not less. They've mentioned when it comes to spectrum policy, you don't want to make it available necessarily to the dominant market players.
Got it. All right. Hey, Joel, thanks for time with us. Joel Kelsey there from Free Press.